everybody? We're back. Been a good while since we did a regular episode, but as far as stuff we're interested in, there wasn't really a whole lot, I'd say, for new stuff. We did get a bunch of trailers and all that to get into, but first, of course, we did get an email, and that's from the boy Mark, so thank you again, man. Unversepodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments. And he's got some questions. He said he saw the new James Bond, and he was kind of underwhelmed. Not the same thrills as the 80s or 90s, but he did love Skyfall, and he wants to know if any of us saw it, and I think the answer is no. I actually haven't seen a James Bond movie, period.
Oh, really? When I knew this was the last one for what's-his-name for this new Bond, I was like, I'm just going to go through all of them because I haven't seen any of the ones that he's in, but I grew up with watching some of the old Bonds, so I haven't heard anything about this new one, like from anybody that I know would have watched it, so I think I might just wait to like get through all of them before I even see this new one.
Yeah, it's like the fifth one, right?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I've always liked Bond. Those kinds of spy movies, they always appealed to me. So I don't know I don't see why I wouldn't like it unless there was, some big hype and it just didn't deliver.
I mean, all I know is he didn't want to do it, and they just paid him enough money to come in. I've heard good things from some people that went to go see it, but yeah, James Bond was just, I kind of knew about the character, but I just never was interested in the movies. I don't know. I know Akil's a huge fan.
Yeah, I personally haven't seen them either. I wasn't super interested in the 007 thing. I mean, there was like a time when we were a kid and like everybody was like all about, what was it, like Goldfinger or Golden Gun?
GoldenEye.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
GoldenEye, yes, right.
GoldenEye.
Yeah, everybody was like all over that, and I was like, I was just a kid back then though, so like spy movies and shit like weren't really like interesting to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of checking them out now is like it's very interesting, but I think like I'm more on the scope of just like seeing all of those old actors because I've always remembered those old actors in different films and stuff too. And I was just thinking about this earlier when we were talking about this. So like there's like a lineage of James Bonds, and was the first James Bond not the Highlander dude?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You think it's Sean Connery?
Sean Connery, yeah. Isn't he the original James Bond?
No, he's like he's like the second or third.
The second or third.
Yeah.
Here, I'll check it.
Oh, I was interested when I heard about their initial pitch for one of these newer Bond movies with a Daniel Craig. It was going to be that the reveal was James Bond is actually, it's a name that gets passed down from agent to agent. And they were going to have all the old Bond actors return for the film. But I think it was Sean Connery himself that decided to put the offer down, and I think that was because he was sick, right? He had like cancer or something. That's why he passed away.
To it, I wasn't really so much into like James Bond as I was into like the Splinter Cell series. Like I think Sam Fisher is just like a way cooler agent or spy, I guess, than James Bond. I wasn't really like into like the showboatsman kind of idea that James Bond is, like, because it's just like, I think of James Bond and he's like a lot of flair, a lot of like, I want to say like showmanship and, just like class and like all of that stuff, you really have to be like a kind of debonair, And
yeah, I see you.
Sam Fisher, he was the kind of dude who's just like, I'm going to work in the shadows. Like covert ops, I'm talking about Blacklist, like all just like the top echelon of like secret keepers of secrets and such. I just thought that shit was cooler, like real spy shit,
Yeah, like James Bond's always been about class and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So his other question, he asks, what were some gaming moments that you did on accident and it was really cool when you did it? And I've had a few of those for sure. I just don't remember accidental cool moments. It probably happened in Smash for sure.
Yeah, I was just about to say it'd probably be like some kind of accidental combo in like a fighting game, or even like earlier I had this clip on a Bayonetta. Like I should not have got them with the banana, but they had hit the stage, bounced off, and in like that frame of a second, like the banana hit them, and I was able to get the dunk. Like so something cool like that, and then you clip it in. I mean, the only other thing I could think of was like accidentally doing like a side quest in like a Final Fantasy game and ends up being really good, or
just some god tier shit that just you did on your first try. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you two examples. I'm also revealing at the same time just how much of a shitty Smash player I am. I was going up against the boy Julian today. You know, I was using Roy, and for the first time in like over 200 something hours, I finally got my first meteor. My first,
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, my first meteor off the stage. And I was like, oh, fuck, finally, dude. Like, I just never felt so good. Like, I felt really bad I did this to Julian, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, buddy. Like,
nah, man, dude, those moments are fucking nice, dude. Like, those, like, once you get your first spike off stage, you're like, that's good, dude. It's like, just put it into better words, it's like coming, dude. It's great.
And then,
need more of it.
Dude, the second one, dude, I know you're going to resonate with me, Adam. It's like playing Final Fantasy X, and then having to do that chocobo race with Tidus.
Oh my fucking god.
And just having to get to 0, just a flat 0 seconds. And it's like, you just have, like, I don't know, like that one run in like the tens of runs that you can do like per hour. You know, it's just like so fucking smooth. Everything's going right, dodging all of those fucking birds. God, I hate those birds.
Dude, and tell me why, like, at least for me, because I've done it a good couple times, you know, like to get it to 0-0, because I have it on every single platform. But, like, it's always, for me, like, well, not always, but, like, most of the time for me when I'm doing that, I'm like, this is the last time for the night, dude. I've spent 3 hours on this fucking thing. I'm fucking tired, dude. It's like 12 o'clock. I need to go to bed for work. And then I'll try it, and I get it, and I'm like, cool, we're done. Save the game, pass out.
Have you ever? Okay, let me ask you this, just based off what you're telling me now, both for you and for Danny. Have you ever just got done doing some incredible bullshit in a game, and you're just like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna save the game, we're gonna cut it off, but you're so like unsure that you're just gonna save it twice just to be sure that you don't go through that shit again?
I make an extra
bunch
save
of
file,
times,
bro. Dude, if you looked at my Switch save data before like it got corrupted and all that, you would see like 50 different files for Final Fantasy, all for different points of the game, where I was like, I don't want to do this again. Or like, that's a really good scene, I'm gonna go back to that one. But yeah, dude, I'm a madman when it comes to it. This is why I like multiple save files.
Yeah, I used to forget all the time. I'm like, did I just save? Let me just save again.
Every 2 minutes for me in Yakuza is like that.
See, that's the nice thing about 6 is that it auto saves. But even then, I'm like, I don't believe you.
They brought back the phone save feature, right? Where you don't have to go to the telephone.
Yeah.
Or you can save off your cell phone. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, dude. Like after I was done with 2, like
yeah, going back to 3. Yeah.
Going to 3 and like going into those save points. I'm like, wow, like I shouldn't have. It just makes me wish that I abused the save option more often in the other games.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Believe me, when I was in 6, I'm like, I'm abusing this thing all the time. And don't even get me wrong, dude. There were certain moments where I was like, I gotta go find the phone. And then I'm running around Camarocho like, why can't I save here? I was like, oh wait, dumbass, it's on the phone.
Yeah.
His final question is, have you guys ever emulated any games? He just recently emulated Metroid Fusion so he could get prepped for Dread.
That's a good game.
I don't think I emulated any games. If I did, it was like on when I had an Android, which was, I don't even know how long ago that was.
I've got like a whole bunch of emulated games downloaded that I haven't got to yet that I really want to. I guess, yeah, you know, it's just kind of around the board. I mean, when I did my run of the Night Before Christmas game, I emulated that, but now I have it physical. So, well, I had to get a new physical because I don't know what my original one was. But I guess when we had the Wii hacked, Oscar, we technically were emulating the game.
Okay, like if you would say that, then we would have to say the same thing for when we have PSPs.
For the PSPs,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, but in this case, here's what I would tell you. I back in the day when I was a kid, I was a firm pirate. God, I don't even know if anybody's gonna remember this. Do you remember that Sony used to have their own brand of cell phones? They still do. They're called Xperia.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had this cell phone called the Xperia Play, which was just basically like a PSP cell phone.
Oh, I remember when you had that.
Yeah, so I had that, and the very first thing that I did on there was I went onto the App Store and I downloaded an emulator called the Visual Boy Advance. Visual Boy Advance, like they've already been a thing for like tons of years. Like I remember when I had like my compact since like 2000, 2003. Like I would be like just always playing that stuff all the time. So I remember there was always like the best way I could put it is there wasn't at least a year where I wouldn't go through like my favorite Game Boy games, which was like Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, you know, like Castlevania, Aria Sorrow, like Pokemon, like stuff like that. And I would just like either play them on my phone. And after my phone was like all done and kaput, and we got our PSPs, I remember putting the Game Boy emulator on the PSP, doing that. We did the same thing for PlayStation 1 games, remember? Because PlayStation 1 games wouldn't work for Jack on PSP games. So that technically counts. I think like for the Wii and the PSP, their own iOS games technically count. But at the same time, I personally wouldn't count them only because like that's the console that they're for. You know, but if you're going to play other games on that console, then I would count that. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well then, yeah, dude. In that vein, I mean, I've been emulating for a long time. You know, just like when my Game View took a shit, dude. Any laptop I had, I would just run Dolphin.
Oh yeah.
And just go through, you know, Fire Emblem and like the Pokemon games on there.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I was never a big gamer back in the day. I was just absorbing manga left and right. And then when I did get more into games, I was like, well, I already have a huge backlog on my PS3. I might as well play just this.
Do you feel like you would ever see yourself emulating anything, Danny?
But I don't know, because
it's not too hard.
It's not even that. Like, just games that I would want to play, I could just buy them either on my Vita or on my PS3 or my PS5. Really,
you don't see yourself going even like older than that, is what you're saying? Like,
well, because I never had a Nintendo, so I don't really care about Nintendo games that much. I mean, I do want to check out some Metroid stuff because I heard Dread's really good, and I always thought Metroid looked interesting.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that they're gonna bring back a Game Boy emulator or a Nintendo DS emulator for Nintendo. I just don't think that they're gonna do it for maybe like another year or another 2 years, if anything. Like they're just gonna definitely hold out.
Well, they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do now with the SNES and the Sega Genesis thing, because you know everyone's pissed off about that.
And the 64 stuff.
Yeah. Everybody's just super pissed off about the pricing on that. So,
isn't it free with the membership?
No, it's part of the expansion pass for the membership.
Yeah.
So that makes it from $20 a year to $50 a year.
Something like that.
Yeah, and everyone's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you're giving us old emulated games that's being emulated on your console, where Xbox Live and Plus give us way better stuff, and plus we have better internet stuff over there versus Nintendo, right? Because you need online to play like Smash and all that, but that's still ass.
And I think it drops tomorrow, actually.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be purchasing it because it does include the Animal Crossing update, and a good majority of my family play that. So it's not, to me, it's not like it's really like a loss, because I wasn't really aiming to get it for the N64 games or anything like that. I honestly don't think that Nintendo could offer anything better. I just think that the way that they've run things up to this point, they have pretty much closed off like backwards compatibility for certain consoles, and now they have to go through this route where they have to build emulators within their own like native console just to make sure that it works and it can run things properly. They didn't release like the full library of N64 games. It's only like a select amount, so that still goes to show that there's probably certain games that won't run correctly or haven't properly.
Yep. Well, also licensing issues and all that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. On top of that, like, we're only getting like, I think total that they showed us that even are going to be released at a later time is like 15, 20 games. So. I don't know. I'm definitely going to get it too, just because there's a couple games on it that I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to replay this, like, just to have it on the Switch. I mean, the price is not justifiable, like, I think that's a crock of shit. I think maybe if, like, it was maybe $10 more,
that'd be fun.
I'd be okay with that, but $30 more? Hold on, man. Like, you're asking me to pay so much more for a year when PlayStation gives me $50 a year and I get a free game to download for the rest of my time being a subscriber, or even when I forget to pay, then I can get it back again when I am, a Plus member. Like, Nintendo's really got to figure out what they're trying to do, and I get it, but still not worth it. Unless you have, like, a good reason for it, it's kind of like you said, Oscar, you have a reason for it, So, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it'd be easier, like, I think one of the good things that they have is the offer for this family bundle thing. I'm still not sure entirely about all the specifics because I don't know anybody really that has it. But I would want to see like if it's really compatible with literally 8 different consoles and 8 different accounts, and it's just one person that needs to manage it. Oh, see, then that's great. You know, I'm not going to say that like it really makes up for everything else, but I mean, it's definitely something that stands out to me. That's something that's pretty worth it.
Yeah, the family plan's cool because I thought my brother he would use my Switch before I gave it to him, and I was like, wait, but he's like, oh, my line expired. Like, wait, but that's my account's on the main Switch, so it should work because that's how Plus and I think Xbox works too, right? If the main account has it,
right,
the other accounts can use it. Yeah, but that's not the case on Switch. I was like, oh, okay.
Oof. Yeah, that blows. So everybody's just gonna have it in it regardless. And I mean, they do make it affordable, but either way, just because they make it affordable doesn't mean that it's worth the price, even if it's affordable.
Well, thank you, Mark, for the email. Again, that's unversedpodcast@gmail.com. We'll be sure to bring all the questions on future episodes. So let's go in, man. First things first, the biggest thing we got to talk about is Sora. He's finally out in Smash. It's been a while since he's been out. And you've probably been playing the most hours with him, right, Adam? Obviously.
Oh, dude, of course, man. And he's great, dude. He's a lot of fun. Definitely need to figure out more of like his matchup spread, but I really like what they did with him. There's a lot of work that they did, like just in his render and like stuff that he can do. Like, I mean, all his moves. I think Sakurai did a really good job at showcasing which game they're from, and it's literally like taken from the big main titles of games, you know. So, really, you know, claps out to Sakurai. He did a great job with Sora. And Sora's just a really fun character. You know, he's definitely made for anybody who just wants to pick him up and have a good time. And there's obviously, like, a lot of really intense stuff you can do with him. But I haven't got there yet. I got the Nair loops down, but, I mean, I think everybody just kind of figured that one out. But yeah, dude, I can't believe it, man. You know, like, when Sakurai said, he goes, oh, he was supposed to be in Smash 4, but they're like, no, we need more time, so they put in Bayonetta instead. Like, he's been in development for years, and I can see where all that hard work is coming out. Like, he just looks great. Looks great, feels great, everything's great.
Yeah, Sakurai actually mentioned recently of the process that happened. He was able to meet one of the Disney representatives at an award show, and this was after they already picked the fighters for Season 2. It was only going to be 5 characters, and then it's like, well, wait, actually looks like Sora might be a thing. We could throw him into Fighter Pass 2 for the final send-off. Yeah, so it's really cool, man. He was a little weird to play at first. I still don't like his second jump. It just feels way too floaty, but everything else I think is solid. You get used to him pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, once you figure out what that second jump is for and like canceling it out, like man, there's so much potential with him. But yeah, I'm ready to see like the next big tournament, what people can do with him. You know, there's been a couple locals all around the country. People have been using him, so just want to see what, you know, the top level players are going to do and see if I can mimic it or figure out some cool stuff. I think it's a really good character to end Ultimate with. It's kind of like what Max said. You know, I hope that they continue to update this game because I don't think we'll ever get a Smash game like this again. With all these characters, I just don't see it being a possibility. You know, especially with Sakurai, you know, probably not going to be working on it. Like,
yeah, I can't. Well, it's not like I can't, but it's more like it's going to be hard imagining the next 10 or 15 years of gaming. You know, what other kind of essential varieties of Smash are they going to come out with that would come close to this?
Exactly.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is basically the 2020 version of Melee. Like, yep. For the next 10 to 15 years, this is going to be like the staple and like Evo. But even then, I still think like this game would be around, you know, predominantly as like one of those games where, you know, people are always going to be ready to test their mettle. Like, I don't think that that's ever going to stop being a thing. I think that's just a great thing. You know, this has definitely been like an anchor point in our lives where we can even say that we've miraculously lived this long to experience Smash Ultimate and then experience the end of Smash Ultimate.
It's the best timeline, dude.
It's fucking just what's next, man. Yeah, this is the prime time.
It would have been even better if, you know, they didn't put Alucard as an assist trophy, but, you know, I'll take it one day at a time.
You know, like, who knows? I'm just thinking that if they're really willing to pick up these same IPs or, like, not even try new IPs, which is something that I'm really, like, foreseeing. If they come out with like Switch Model 2 and then Smash comes out for, only Switch 2 or whatever the case is, and, we get like new Samus, new Mario game, we get new Bowser who has the Fury mode or whatever. So we're going to get like a really small roster of just new type characters and not like the old assets that they used to have. Like they're just trying to move forward. It wouldn't be anything new. Fighting games have done that before in the past, and not really successfully, albeit, but it's a start to essentially something new. Like a new base that we're trying to build off of, because nobody just wants to keep going based off the old thing, or people will eventually stop buying it anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what the future of Smash is going to be, because there's no way they're going to be able to port all these characters, especially Sora. I doubt whatever the contract was for that character, like it's going to transfer over to the next one on Switch 2 or whatever the new console they're going to have in like the next 3 years. But speaking of Smash, man, another game also came out we didn't really get to talk about was Nickelodeon All-Stars, and it's been an interesting time seeing all the exploits and all the brokenness that game has at tournaments and over on Twitter. Yeah, that game, all I gotta say is it feels weird. Like, don't think of Smash when you hop in, really, because it doesn't feel like Smash. At least, Ultimate anyways. I know there's like a lot of Melee players, and I guess you would know, right, Adam? Is it closer to Melee?
Yeah, dude, it's got a lot more in the same vein of Melee than Smash does. A lot of it's because of the wave bounce, a lot of it just the way that your movement is, and just kind of the way that the grabs work, all that kind of stuff. Like it's much more Melee-esque, but still very different from Melee. But yeah, there's been a lot of Melee players picking up All-Star because it's like home to them. Really, I like it a lot. I really want to see what the DLC roster is going to look like because the base roster is already really strong.
Yeah, I'm liking it, and there's been some data mining and all that to see potential characters, and it's interesting because what we got in the data mines was the MP3s of the announcer saying characters' names. And maybe they could be placeholders, but it's probably maybe we'll get these characters coming in, which I hope so, because so far we only know for sure 2 characters are coming in, and the leaks right now is Garfield and Shredder that are going to be coming. I said before, I would like to see Shredder come in, but then at the same time, I'm like, man, that's a 4th character for Ninja Turtles. If it's going to have a small
that's
roster.
A lot for Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, because there's just so much to pull from. And out of the leak list, there's a few characters I'm like, damn, how come we didn't get this one or that one? That kind of sucks. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not... Okay, first, it really matters what version of Garfield it is.
That's true.
Is it, from, the CGU 2004 movies, Garfield? Who was the voice actor for that Garfield, too?
Who, Bill Murray?
Really popular. Bill Murray. Yeah, it was Bill Murray. Damn. See, but we're not gonna get
they
that
ain't
Garfield.
getting Bill Murray.
They ain't getting that Garfield, bro.
Or they could just do what they're doing with everybody else, just no sounds, no dialogue,
That's true.
Which again, that's fine. Again, there's so much they can really do with this game, and if the leaks are true, then that's cool. But again, like you said, that's another rep for Ninja Turtles, which I'm not saying I don't like Ninja Turtles, but it's like, come on, man. Does Nickelodeon really make that much money off of them? This is a Nickelodeon game, so when we had 3 reps for SpongeBob, I'm like, I get it. That's fair, but don't really see a whole lot for Ninja Turtles as far as, underneath my rock that I see, but
I think it's to be expected, though, because if you think about it, their motif just fits the whole entire bill of the game.
Yeah,
They're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're ninjas and they fight, blah, blah, blah. Why not put the
With
Shredder in there?
pizza.
Because they don't have an antagonist, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm still keeping my eye out for newer types of shows. They got those Lincoln Kids in there, and I know the Mighty B is older than that, but still a new, a relatively new show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'll be
Dora,
honest,
bro.
I don't even know what new shows are on Nickelodeon that aren't live action, right?
You know what I do know is going to be new show for Nickelodeon?
What, Adam?
Comes out this Thursday, and it's Star Trek.
Is that going to be on
Star Trek?
Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Is it like a cartoon, or is it like Star Trek?
Yeah,
Star Trek?
it's all animated. It's going to be an animated for kids Star Trek, the first one of its kind.
You're checking that out, of course, right?
Oh, dude, of course, man.
Nice.
I'm ready for it. I already saw the little teaser trailer. It looks pretty good. But that's the only thing I know that's new for Nickelodeon. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, people have been able to pull some like quote unquote costume stuff in the game. But I don't know if it's, I just saw like a few videos for us. I don't know if it's mods or if they're in the game. But it's like hats and stuff. Reptar has a different color, which was cool. But again, I don't know if that's just if it's like they were able to pull it or it's just a mod. But yeah, right. I think costumes would be even alternate colors. That's the crazy thing. There's no alt colors in this either.
So when two people pick, like let's say Danny Phantom, like is it just like the melee thing where one of them is dark and one of them is light?
No, it's like Jump Force and J-Stars where there's no color change. Yeah, but I don't think in local you could pick the same character. When you're online, when it's like 1v1 and stuff, you can pick the same character. The one thing I'm glad about is that they've been pretty keen on making sure they get patches in there right away when things get exploited, because the last big tournament, Michelangelo got banned because he had an infinite jump basically, and he could just stay in the air forever and time the game out, so they fixed that. And like Sandy, she had like an infinite combo. They patched that out and stuff. So, that's cool because they literally said, we're putting out the game, go ahead and try to break it, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, that's also why I got it for PC instead, because I think there was a Smash tournament a few weekends ago, and they had All-Stars there, and they're like, yeah, well, there's going to be some stuff that people can do because the Switch doesn't get the patch update until like a couple days after the tournament had ended. I think Steam was the first one to get the update.
Yeah, that makes sense. Moving on to some stuff, we got some news for Elden Ring. It did get delayed to February. It was originally going to come out in January, but right now you could sign up for a network test on the game, and that'll be in January. If you go to the official website, I think, for Elden Ring, or for whatever Bondi has or whatever.
No way.
Yeah, you'll be able to sign up, and then, just wait for the email for that. We got confirmation that the Blood Rain ports that were on Steam that were coming to console, that's going to be in November, so that's the first 2 games, so that's pretty cool. All consoles, so Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, which means you can play all the Blood Rain games, because they also ported the other one that's like a side-scroller a while back as well. So that's cool. Edgy Vampire PS2 games, that's what I'm here for. And while we're talking PS2, man, we got a trailer. I didn't even watch it because I saw the price, but the GTA trilogy is coming this year.
Yeah, how much is that?
It's $60. And it's for San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3.
Oh, so no. Okay, of course they wouldn't have Liberty City stores. Damn. Well, I mean, that's still a pretty good roster.
I wouldn't say don't give up on that. The stories, the stories sub-series, like those can definitely come back. Because those games are also super popular.
I hope so, man. Those are really fun. I really like those.
Yeah. I fucking love them too. Like, they're great.
Yeah, they're really good games. What's crazy is that when they confirmed it a while back, and then before the pre-orders came out, they removed the original ports that they did off of the stores, so you can't buy those anymore. Which, I mean, is fine because like it's not like they had any good music in there because of the licensing issues.
Isn't that what Steam does when like you have a game and then it gets updated?
Yeah. For the most part, like when Dark Souls 1 Remastered came out, they got rid of the original Dark Souls on Steam, and then your copy got replaced with the remaster.
I think that's fine. It depends. Like I think it depends on what the game is.
The reason why I wouldn't agree, and I just think that all in all, like especially the speedrunners, the version of game that you try to run matters. And if you were to take that away from them, like that's a shitty thing to do, because they'll pretty much work and practice for months off of a certain version to do certain things. And if you just replace it all of a sudden without telling them, just whatsoever, then that could, just basically ruin everything that they had worked up for up to that point.
See, when you put it in that kind of way, I completely agree with you. But like, if you're just some casual, then.
Well, also there's
the
problems where those newer versions of the games run like ass as well, and now you're just stuck with that. Like you're not able to get the old version, at least on Steam. So that sucks. But yeah, checking out the trailer that showed off was just a comparison of the graphics. You're right, it's updated. It just looks brighter. The contrast is better. It's a match just modern consoles, pretty much. And the trilogy's coming out on all consoles. See, the video said November. Oh, digitally November, and then a physical release will be in December. But it's $60, so I'm probably gonna wait a while before I grab those up.
Dude, you know it's gonna go on sale.
Definitely.
You know it's always gonna go on sale.
I hope so. Yeah, because the original ones they had on PlayStation, they didn't really go on sale that often. But yeah, I want to play those games again. Those are fun games. I only played a little bit of Vice City, but I definitely played a lot of 3 and San Andreas.
Did you now? I didn't figure you wanted to play a lot of Grand Theft Auto.
Dude, that was like one of the first or only games I had on PS2. Like, I would just, after school, I would always play GTA 3, and then eventually I got San Andreas, would just play that. I had the cheat codes on the paper and everything. Yeah.
Do you remember any of the story? Like, were you actually interested in the plot?
I don't remember the stories at all. Like, I did them, but I don't remember. All I did was like, okay, let's run around, let's try to get 6 stars. You know, let's see how fun these cheats are, and then
flying tanks, bro.
Yeah,
flying tank. All right, so you were just playing for the gang shit. You were just doing it.
When I had the hover car cheat, and I was like, oh, does this work on a motorcycle, bro? Where's the motorcycle? Let me try it out. Like, that's what I was doing.
Look, dude. After I got through the story in those games, I just did it for 3 words and 3 words only, bro. Black excellence, man. That's what I was in the game for.
I gotta tell you, dude. Like, yeah, like for the most part, I didn't really get into Grand Theft Auto until I was gonna say I was like an early teenager. So by that point, like I was already aware of like story content and for plot and stuff. My first Grand Theft Auto was Liberty City Stories. As a matter of fact, I would play as Mr. Tony, and I got to tell you, bro, like I pretty much fell in love with Grand Theft Auto for that game and that game alone right there. Like Liberty City Stories is by far one of the best games that I had ever like actually played. I liked what the game was about. It like really even got me into like mafia things in general. Like I didn't really care about like stuff like The Godfather and like Martin Scorsese films and stuff like that until like I saw Grand Theft Auto, and I'm gonna be like, oh, this is lit, bro. Like this is very macho, bro. Like I'm trying to find the gabagool, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to,
the gabagool.
And even now, I just keep thinking back to like I never got to play 3 when San Andreas was a thing, and like everybody really was like always playing it. I never got a chance to play it, and then when I did finally get my hands on it, like by that time, like I was nowhere interested in ever picking up my PS2 again. So I just like let it sit there and collect dust. But now that they're gonna remaster that thing, I can definitely see myself like finding the urge to get back into it and finally like play San Andreas, sit down and really experience that game for what it's worth, because I didn't really get that far into that game.
But right, man, I mean, the only other real video game stuff to talk about is Yakuza experiences, man. Oscar, you started 4 not that long ago.
Yes, sir.
Akiyama's my boy, dude.
Dude, Shun Akiyama is the dude. Okay?
He's great, man.
I really gotta say, just the way that these people just happen to coincide with each other, like, all the time is so serendipitous, bro. Like, probably not, like, I don't know, like, the full scope of everything that happened so far, but I just thought it was funny, like, doing one of the sub-stories, you get to see a little bit of, like, Shun's background, and you get to find out that he was, like, homeless or whatever, and he just happened to be sleeping right in Theater Square the night that, Nishikiyama blew himself up in that vault, and just money starts flying out everywhere, and I just keep thinking to myself, like, what year did this fucking happen? What year is this game taking place in?
Yep.
It's just, and I'm like, man, it just really like, it's just a really small world, in the world of Kamurocho and Sarutobi whenever you do end up going over there. I love it, man. I love everything about it so far. I'm already at the point, I believe, where I'm gonna switch over to the next main character, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on with that guy too, and what's going on with the plot for this story. Because so far, it's looking pretty. I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but my word is small. Like in the grand scale of things, like usually when a Yakuza game starts out, I feel like it starts out on a really grand scope of things. Like either you're already aware that there's like a turf war involved, or like there are like predetermined clans and like the turfs and restrictions for certain clans and all this other stuff. So like I said, I personally believe that when a Yakuza game starts out, they're always giving you so much exposition. It starts off on a really big scale. But in this case, I don't really feel like it was going in that way. I feel like it was more or less starting in a really narrow look of the Tojo clan and then expanding outwards slowly. So I'm just like, there's a lot about the rest of the story that I'm looking forward to hearing about. I'm just kind of hoping that the cutscenes aren't too long, because that is one of the things that kind of kills it for me. I wouldn't want to go into like...
They only get longer, dude.
Yeah, they
only get
longer. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: do they happen continuously? Because that's also something that I'm not a fan of.
No,
sometimes,
well, for 4, it's pretty much the same basic structure, right? We get like the high, like because there's the tiers of cutscenes, and you always get the high budget. Then we go to the text based, and then it'll sometimes go back, but it's never like, okay, we just went through this long stretch of cutscene. Now let's move on to a different section of the story kind of cutscene. It doesn't really do that.
In 5 and 6, it starts to do that. Yeah,
sounds like a Kojima game.
I think four's the last one where it's like, no, we're gonna hold off. But yeah, 5 definitely does that. You'll get like a long cutscene. You're like, whew, all right, time to play. And it's like, nope, there's another one. Nah, dude, that shit's great. like when it happens, it's worth it. Like they only do it in like necessary doses. It's not like I want to go take a piss and I gotta wait,
Yeah, it's not like when I was playing Death Stranding. I'm like, I don't even know when this is gonna stop. When can I save?
Right.
I have to go. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave my PlayStation on for a week and then come back. Like I don't want it to get to that point.
When I started Yakuza 4, like my only recourse, because I accidentally started a scene that I didn't want to start, and like I didn't save beforehand, so I didn't want to like cut it off. So my only recourse was to just put my PS4 in rest mode, and like I just basically had to like give it a whole day before I can go back to it. And I was like, okay, I finally managed to have time to like foresee how long this potential cutscene can be, and like not have anything else that I have to take care of immediately where it's gonna like distract me, because I feel like if I miss out on one part of the cutscene, then the entire cutscene itself loses its whole scope. Like I lose the the whole meaning of the cutscene in general, and I'm just like lost at that point.
Yeah, I was like that in Kiwami 2 and in 3, where I look away and I'm like, I shouldn't have looked away. What are they talking about now? Yeah, you really got to pay attention with the cutscenes. That's the big thing with Yakuza, and I'm kind of for it because at this point, like I hop back on 4, and I guess I'm in the final part. Like I guess I'm close, right? You were saying, Adam, to the end.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah.
You're close.
Yeah, and right now I'm just more invested in the story than anything else. Like I could care less about actually playing the game right now. I'm like, I'll just have to fight when I have to fight, and then just looking forward more to the cutscenes and all that.
All I'm gonna say, and this goes to you too, Oscar, as you're progressing through 4, do the special training for Akiyama and like 2 other characters, because you get this equipment for one of the bosses at the end. I don't know how frustrating that boss would be if I didn't have the gear. And thank God that Grant told me. He goes, you should probably do this. I was like, do I really need to? He goes, no, you should probably do it. And I was like, all right, dude, I'll spend the time on it.
Yeah, I haven't had any regrets
so if you don't
far.
do that, you let me know how that is, and you'll know exactly what I mean. And all I can feel is like the frustration already, like days ahead.
Honestly, like the difference between this game and Yakuza 3, I haven't had any regret so far putting the time aside to do the sub-stories. I already finished all the sub-stories for Akiyama, and I got the little like completionist thing from like Bob.
Did you talk to the bald dude Saigo on the rooftop and do all his trainings?
Yeah. When he first came out.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: I did the shooting one and the running one, and then I unlocked like the suicidal versions for both, and I beat those. Mm-hmm. But like when I did the combat one, I didn't get another one for that. It's just combat. So I was like,
I think combat is just one, but I can double check.
I was just making sure. But like I said, other than that, I have not regretted an ounce of like all the extra time that I put into doing like sub stories and like all the other stuff. Like when I saw that Mac came back, and I was like, oh yeah, like before I finish up, the whole thing with Akiyama, I'm definitely gonna like look into the revelations and stuff to get the rest of his movesets. Like I think the reason why I like Akiyama so damn much is just because I'm like a super big kick user. I'm a really big fan of those kind of fighting characters.
Yeah,
I always feel like they pack more of a punch than the standard character.
There is a suicidal combat.
Yeah, but I'm liking it. I like all the characters, the new main boys coming in here. You know, when I came back in, I was thinking I probably would be okay if this game didn't have Kiryu at all. Like there is a scene you'll get to in a bit, Oscar, when you start the second part with Kiryu. I'm like, I would have been fine if that was all we got. And then I finally got to where you get to play as him, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like the stuff they brought up, it's like, oh, this is the reason why Kiryu has to be involved with the game. And part of me is like, yeah, that makes sense. The other part, I'm like, oh, it kind of feels a little forced just to throw it in there because it's like, well, we can't let go of the main character of this franchise. At this point, it's like 4+ games in.
But I'm just going to assume that it has something to do with the sixth chairman. At one point or another, it's always got to be some bullshit that Daigo has to drag Kiryu in. That was my first thought, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say keep playing because there was stuff I didn't expect to happen. And a little twist and turns, some reveals with characters and all that. But for the most part, I'm liking it. So far, it's just a standard Yakuza game. I don't know how many of these characters carry on over to the next games, but I hope they do, or at least we get enough out of this game for it to justify, like, yeah, this is the only reason why they're here, and then they just move on.
Well, we at least know that they're going to be in one other game. So after that, it's pretty much, that's probably what the mindset was. But honestly, I don't know. At this point, I'm glad that I haven't gotten completely burnt out of the series yet, but now that our friend has already gotten to the end and he's already in Like a Dragon, I just find myself like halfway not even caring, honestly. I just want to like just rush through it and just kind of get up there because I'm already at the point where legitimately a couple more 100 hours of this kind of playstyle and I'm gonna get sick of it. And I'm just probably not gonna ever want to touch it again.
That's what I thought too. And then I finished 6. And I downloaded Judgment.
See, Judgment? No, wait. Did you get the regular Judgment?
No, I got the PS5 one because it was on sale. Yeah, Danny was telling me about like how it looks, and I don't know. I haven't even started yet because I've kind of just been on Sora, but I'll let you guys know what I think of when I actually start it up.
I tried the demo back when it was the first Judgment. What I can tell you is the difference between this one and the PS5 one, or Lost Judgment. Mm-hmm. They added another fighting style for him. So
okay, cool.
I think he only had 2 styles, and now he has like 3, or he has like a combination of 3, and you can like double it to 6 or something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that it said it contains like all the DLC. It's like the complete edition of the game. So when I get to it, I'll let you guys know. I really just want to burn through, Kiryu's story, knowing that Like a Dragon is with Ichiban and there's really no references to Kiryu there, and that Judgment has nothing with any Yakuza characters in there. So, but I will say, 5 and 6 are great. I keep telling Danny, I'm like, Yakuza 4 is like Avengers Infinity War, Yakuza 5 is Endgame, and 6 is just incredible.
Did you ever fight any of the secret bosses in Yakuza?
Yeah, there's one. So in 6, you automatically unlock him, like as a sub story, and I went for the plat in 6, so I had to do that. And apparently, it's like this dude from this clan, and you can fight them all throughout all the games. Like, but I think you have to complete all the sub stories to do that.
Right.
Or it might change like between one or the other. I don't know. I didn't look that too far into it. But let me tell you, man. That dude's hard, like really, really difficult.
Yeah, you have to really like be on it when it comes to all that kind of stuff. And I do know who you're talking about. That's what I was wondering, if you ended up fighting any of them throughout any of the Yakuza games. I didn't end up fighting any of them so far, although I don't know if I ever think I can plat Yakuza. But if I ever figure out how to play Mahjong, I'll definitely like go back.
Oh, dude, I don't know if it's the same way for every single game, but for the plat. But in 6, you just have to do every single mini game. Like you don't have to win at any of them. You just got to play them at least once.
Well,
like,
I know in
through.
some, the mahjong is part of the completion list, which is tied to a trophy. Like with Kiwami 2, because I told Grant, I'm like, oh, you know what? I have a lot of trophies. I might as well try to play. He's like, but mahjong, I'm like, that's not a trophy. It's like in the completion list. I'm like, God damn it, dude.
I was gonna say for some of the games you have to like for like Yakuza 2 and some of them for the completion list they'll ask you to do specific moves and win specific ways in mahjong, and that was basically what was on the completion list.
Yeah, the neat thing about 6 is that you don't have to like 100% the completion list to get the plat. It's like most of it, although there is one that took like a stupid amount of time, but I found a way around it to like speed it up.
Nice. But I will say, to go on Oscar's point earlier about like with the gameplay, like I am already at that point where I'm like, I kind of don't care about the fighting styles anymore. I think to me the best it ever was in Zero, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. But that's not fair to say with these games because those 3 games came out later after 4. I don't know. There's just something about it where I'm like, I'm just not having as much fun as I think I would have compared to those other games. But no, I'm still gonna go through it, man. 5 games deep, I might as well just finish at least Kiryu's side before touching the other ones.
Are you gonna touch Judgment, Danny?
Yeah, I have Judgment. I think after 4, I'll probably play 5, or maybe I'll hold off on 5 and then play Dead Souls because I did grab that up on the PS3.
Now I'm super curious. I know this is kind of going like really like left field, but I also wanted to try giving the Monkey Ball games a try, the remastered ones that came out.
I heard there's a lot of problems with them, Oscar.
Really?
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of problems with them. I haven't got it myself. I haven't talked to Brendan yet, but I know he got it day one, and I've been wanting to get it, but I read on a thread somewhere that there was like a laundry list of issues that like these people had with it. They've been like diehard fans, so I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, I don't remember too much, and I think that was one of the things that this person said. That, like, if you don't remember a lot of the details of Monkey Ball, you're still gonna have a good time. But if you're like a diehard fan, then you're gonna be like a little upset about the changes that they made and all that kind of stuff.
If it's like an actual gameplay issues, like really like impassable glitches, and that's probably something that I'll stay off of until there's a patch. But other than that, I've never been into Monkey Ball. Mm-hmm. Like there were just a lot of
more
games
like for shits and gigs.
Yeah, like just because honestly, like it's another Sega game, and there are ties to the director for Yakuza before he did Yakuza and like all this other stuff. So I'm like, why not? Like why not see like what the other side of his life was like before he jumped into that?
Right.
Let's go back into some of this news here. We got some trailers for some video game stuff. We should go with the one that came out a while back. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City trailer came out, and that's for the new live action movie that's not part of the other films. And
I liked it.
It looks like, to me, it looks like just like a video game movie kind of thing. I'm interested to check it out, seeing what they're going to do with the difference of the story here.
Yeah, it's a lot of 1 and 2 and looks like a little bit of Code Veronica. So I'm invested into it. It makes me want to go back and replay, the old school ones, especially Code Veronica, because that was just a really good game.
What part of Code Veronica do you think that you saw from the trailer? Because I thought for the most part Code Veronica was just when they were on the island, right? And it was just Claire without Chris.
I think I saw like a bioweapon that mentioned Veronica in there. I could just be wishful thinking, but I know it's definitely a mix of 1 and 2. That's for certain. Like we go to the Spencer Mansion. We got Claire and Leon in the station. Like there's all that.
It seemed to me like the progression of the way that things were. Like they probably started out in the outskirts, then made their way into town, then into the police station, then underground, then to the mansion.
Well, you got to remember, it's 2 different stories being told at the same time. I'm pretty sure that's what it looks like. So
there's a side A and side B plot?
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure how it starts off is, like, you get the whole thing with Chris and Claire, and then Chris goes off to the mansion with Jill and Wesker, and then everything unfolds in Raccoon City.
I really hope the runtime if it's really going to be like that, then I hope
it's going to be at least
runtime
2.5 hours. It's got to be at least 2.5.
Yeah, I hope it's more than 120 minutes at least.
Let's see what the runtime they have right now, because it's coming out next month in November. It's 1 hour and 47 minutes.
That's not enough time.
Well, we'll see. So from what that tells me is, I agree with you, Adam. I think that they're going to take a lot from both both games, but more importantly, they're just going to take a lot of important landmark and tropes from it, but not, I would say, anything that's pivotal to the plot from the game. Only things that are like more like, I would say, similar to it, you know, that would kind of like go well with whatever the plot for the movie is. So I'm just going to be looking out for the kind of true tropes that they have here that they don't have to kind of fit in for the plot of the movie or kind of change the way it is, you know. I did like the part with who I assumed was the chief underground in the parking lot, and I liked that he saw the dog up against the truck. But I was thinking to myself, if the chief was going to be evil like he is in the games, and if they were going to introduce Shirley, right?
The daughter?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she has a cameo in there. I think I saw her. I mean, we got the doctor in there, so why wouldn't she be in there, you know?
Yeah, we got the dad. My mom was alive too, but he didn't turn yet. So I don't know if Mom is alive or if she's just going to be written out of the movie.
I mean, the most important things we need, like, to keep it story-wise from the game is, like, everything with Spencer, or, like, a good chunk with Spencer, because that's really where it all starts. And then we already have Dr. Birkin, or Birch, whatever, something with a B. And
yeah, I think you're right, Birkin.
Yeah, so with those two pieces, they really can do whatever the hell they want with the story, you know?
Right on, man. Again, that's November 24th. That's going to be coming out. And then just the other day, we got another video game movie trailer. Out of nowhere, Uncharted gets its first official trailer. And half a second in, the first thing I'm like, oh, right, it's just Tom Holland. Like, all I could think of is Tom Holland.
Spider-Man!
I think the trailer's fine. You know, the one thing I'm super glad about is that they're not just adapting the first game. They're doing their own thing, which I think is fine. And then it's like, yeah, it's just, you know, Nathan Drake is a character. He has his own personality, the way he talks and his voice. It's really hard to pull that out of him. Right? Especially when we got that Nathan Fillion fan film like 3 years ago.
God, dude, that was so good.
And that was great. Yeah. And just to see Tom Holland, just the way he talks and the way he sounds. And I'm like, yeah, it's like I'm watching Spider-Man or something. But towards the back half of the trailer, there was dialogue he was saying where I was like, you know what? That is something Nathan Drake would say, and he delivered those lines fine. So I think I'll be okay with this movie. But will say the one other thing too was like, man, remember Mark Wahlberg went on like Facebook or whatever, and like there was a video of him wearing like a ridiculous looking mustache to play a Sully, and he doesn't even have it in the movie. I was like, oh, okay.
I was really hoping that they were going to give him a fat suit.
Well, Sully's not fat.
Yeah.
It's just time to go back and play the games, man. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Like this looks like around the same time frame. Oh, this is the same time frame when they met during the flashbacks, and I think it was Uncharted 3 when that happened. I will say I wasn't expecting them to say like, "Oh, you knew my brother Sam," and like all that other stuff that they were talking about. I'm like, "Oh, so you should know the other games before you kind of dive into the movie if you want to catch everything, right?"
Yeah, I think that would just be the most sense. But I can't imagine that there are going to be too many people who like haven't really seen or heard the series just kind of going into this. I mean, you always have to imagine there's probably a couple of situations like on one-handed occasions where it is going to be like that. But for the most part, I think this is definitely targeted towards that dedicated Naughty Dog audience that's just been like, all right, man, let's make it happen, bro.
But most of the audience will be people who don't know, right? Because just looking at the cast alone, it's like, oh yeah, they put these names in this movie to sell tickets. Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas. There's another actress I saw in there that I only know her from Game of Thrones. So that's a big thing. And then, but obviously, yeah, it is also for fans too, because towards the end, it's like, oh, that's clearly a recreation from Uncharted 1 or 3 when they have to climb on the crates back into the plane.
Dude, that scene was nice, man.
Whether I'm laughing because it's good or I'm laughing because it's bad, either way, you know.
Look, dude, that's how we take those video game movies, you know?
Yeah. And I love how the official Sony trailer on YouTube at the very end. It's like, oh yeah, don't forget the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection coming to PC. So this is coming out in February next year. I'm hoping it's a good time. That's all that really matters. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind a sequel if it's good enough for it. But then again, like just looking at Tom Holland, like he looks too young to go into like Uncharted 1 territory.
Did you know who they could put for Uncharted 1, bro?
Tell me, Adam. Tell me.
Me.
Oh,
I can do a great job, dude. I look old enough.
Just get Nathan Fillion.
Dude.
Just get him to do like an older one.
Please, bro. Please. I'm born for it.
John Krasinski, bro.
You know, I'll take him too, actually.
I know people wanted Jeremy Renner. I was like, I mean, I guess that'd be a okay pick too.
It'd be hard to look past the Hawkeye, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard in
least for me.
general, right? Because it's like, why can't PlayStation just go to a CG company and then make the movie? You know, like, yeah, I know Ratchet and Clank didn't do good in the box office, but you know, if they really dug their hands in like they are now, maybe it could be a lot better. Mm-hmm. But because that's what I always said about every time there was a new Smash reveal for Ultimate, right? And you see like these high budget CG trailers. I'm like, dude, Nintendo could just make their own movies. Why are they going to Illumination for Mario? They could just do it themselves. Speaking of CG and trailers, we got a teaser for the new Dragon Ball movie, and that's going to be all CG. It's called Dragon Ball Superhero, which is just one of those weird anime titles like My Hero, where it was like My Hero Academia, Two Heroes or something. That was at least
two
one of
zeros, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think this one looks fine. It looks like a fun time. I think that's what they're going with because they're bringing back the Red Ribbon Army. We're seeing just shenanigans that was like Dragon Ball era. You know, it kind of reminds me of I don't know if you guys ever saw the CG One Piece movie that came out a long time ago. It looks like it's just straight out of Pirate Warriors, but that one's it's just a fun little adventure that they go through. Nothing crazy like the other major films One Piece had. And that's what this one kind of feels like. I gotta say, for the most part, the CG looks better than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, there's some shots in the first half where it's like, oof, that looks too stiff and maybe that's not ready. But then the shots with Goku, it's like, is that CG? Because that looks too fluid to be CG sometimes.
Definitely excited to see, you know, if the movie will be a lot smoother in transition compared to a lot of CG movies that have come out, you know, beforehand. But I can only say, you know, the medium is only getting better. At first, you know, especially with the things that they were trying it on, it was really hard for a lot of people to accept or love, and now we're finally getting into that mode where things are looking, you know, or things are looking and tweaking just a bit right, where it's like suitable for a lot of people to be like, okay, this is basically what we've been expecting when it comes to this. And now this is like predominantly what we would want, you know, for you to redo on older projects. Like, not to say that anybody's going to spend the time, you know, putting all of these new layers and textures and all sorts of brand new CG mapping over on all of those old Berserk movies, but hey, if somebody were to do it, I'd definitely put in the money to see it happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always think back to Battle of the Gods with Dragon Ball. There's some CG shots in there, and they're just bad. Like, really bad. And even with, like, the recent Broly movie, like, the CG in there, it looked fine. It's passable, but, like, it's like, it still stands out that it's CG. But here it's like, make it all CG, and it's like, oh, they're actually doing a lot of good stuff with it, so I'm hoping they could just polish up the stuff that looked really bad, and then we could get something nice for that. We got another trailer for Netflix with their live-action Cowboy Bebop. That's going to be coming out, which I think it's next month, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not really a trailer. It's more of a look, right? Like a look into what to expect. It's called The Lost Session. I just wasn't feeling it.
I think when I first saw it, I was like, this looks kind of weird. This looks like a bunch of cosplay people, you know, just kind of like doing their own fanfic. And then the more that I sat with it, I think I like what they did to kind of show us, you know, like the playful humor, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think they're not gonna get to the taste of Bebop, but I think they're gonna try their hardest. And some scenes might work really well. I think other scenes are going to be hot garbage, like just some straight dog water.
Yeah, the thing that really set me off with the trailer was the way everybody acted. It doesn't feel like Cowboy Bebop to me. I mean, there's some stuff with Spike where I'm like, yeah, that's from what I remember when I watched the anime a while back. But then stuff with Faye, and I'm like, that doesn't really feel like Faye. And then with Jet, I'm like, it's kind of there, but it's kind of not like it's like it doesn't really feel like what the show did. And I get they're not trying to do a 1-for-1, but that already has me worried if they're not gonna get like at least the characters down. And then yeah, the cosplay stuff. I think it's mostly with Spike, right? He just looks goofy with his collar popped out like that.
Oh, 100%, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't have the anime neck.
You know they put all that starch on there, bro. You know he's smelling that starch like, the whole time he's acting.
And then another part of me, I'm like, so it is cool how the trailer does kind of play out with the camera and all that stuff, the way the black bar comes in and transitions scenes. But I'm thinking, is that supposed to tell us, like, expect this when you watch the show? Or this is just a little stunt that they want to do for this to make it really pop? Because if the show's gonna be like this, I'm like, I think I'm okay. I might give it one episode, but I probably just won't watch this.
I think it really depends, right? Like, I feel like there could be certain moments where the black bar could really appeal to what's going on. If they did without it, that'd be totally fine too. Like, it's just, again, I think I'm gonna sit on the side of the bleachers where it's like, we're just doing something cute, and I'm like, okay, it's cute, it's fun. I like it, I don't like it, but I guess we'll find out in like a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, do you ever feel yourself sitting on a stance where you can say that you didn't like something but still agree that it's good? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
When the movie comes out?
Yeah,
yes.
What was it?
Final Fantasy X-2, dude.
Oh, okay.
That's my great example.
I don't remember. It was something I watched where I was like, I don't like it, but I could clearly see why people like it and they say it's good. Like I obviously don't like Resident Evil's good, and I played Resident Evil 1 the other day on stream, and I'm like, it's just not for me. That kind of game is just really not for me. But I know it's good because of what I always hear about it.
The ending of Gantz. Some people out there in the world like it, dude, and you know what? I'll let them like it. I think it's a cop-out ending, but hey, we can get into that another time.
I think it's fine because once you start reading his other stuff outside of Gantz, you're like, oh no, he just wanted to be weird all along. I'm just still bummed out about the vampires, and that they never went anywhere.
Dude, that's like, I don't like the word trigger, but that shit fucking gets me, dude. Like, you had a great... I'm not even gonna get into it. Read Gantz, get to the vampires. They never come back. That's all you need to know.
Nothing but positive from what I saw for the trailer, but I'm like, it's okay. But moving on, man. I didn't watch this trailer, but I guess Blade Runner's getting an anime, which is pretty cool. It's called Black Lotus.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know who asked for that, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I only knew about the first movie, and then the new one came out, and then there was like a bunch of shorts on YouTube that were all connected to the movies. And then they came out with a comic book, I think, is connected. And then now we get an anime. So I'm like, oh, okay. They're trying to, get that cyberpunk stuff coming in, I guess.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
Just wait for them to come out with an MMO.
I think that's going to be on Netflix. I'm not sure.
If you think about it, a lot of that does kind of make sense, or just kind of knew that something like that would happen eventually. I mean, The Matrix did get its own anime really early. But that was just because it was just stupid popular at the time. Blade Runner was, it was like a 90s film, and then again got like reduxed in like just within the last couple of years, So I don't know. There are certain cult classics that I can imagine would definitely do well coming back animated.
100%.
Like, here's one of that. You probably wouldn't expect it, but I bet you a lot of people would pay a lot of money to see something like Clockwork Orange animated. And Clockwork Orange is a really weird movie, dude.
Dude, that, like, you really want to get crazy with it. Like, Full Metal Jacket or, like... Dude, we did get Ash vs. Evil Dead, which is not animated, but I'm pretty sure if that was animated, that'd still be pretty good, we're getting the video game. But, like, there is a lot of things I think could benefit from, like, having a resurgence from. And like, not to shoot anything down on Blade Runner, like it's a really good, like love the first one, love 2049, like really good stuff that they put in there. It's good to see it happen to these, for lack of a better word, idea come back in time, right? Come back forward in time, and like everybody loves it all over again.
Now, bouncing off of what you just said, I think ideas like that would suit really well for like really old, like boomer movies, I guess. Like, okay, tell me you wouldn't think of like if Rambo First Blood got animated, right? But like animated, right? And somebody could like take the ideas of what they were trying to do for Rambo and animate that shit. Would you not watch that?
Dude,
or like
please.
Commando.
Please.
Fucking Predator 2 with fucking Schwarzenegger in the jungle. Like, I would watch all of that animated, dude.
Bro, and have it look like Primal? Yes, dude. Yeah. I'm in. I'm all in. Get my boy, what's his name? Tartovsky, or however you fucking pronounce it, dude. Get him to do it. He would do a great job. But yes, I'm with you, dude. I'm right here. I'm holding your hand. We're shaking it up in the air. It's a great time.
This was on Netflix. I brought it up because I'm a big fan of the show. They announced that there's going to be a spinoff for That 70s Show, and it's called That 90s Show.
Do we really have to talk about this? Because I really don't want to talk about it.
I mean, all I got to say is...
This show just makes me mad, dude.
It's obviously...
It makes me really mad.
It's set in the 90s. It's Eric and Donna's daughter. She's visiting her grandparents for the summer, and she's going to hang out with the local kids. And I think it's like a 10-episode run for that season.
Chong? Yes? No?
No, it's probably no Chong, bro.
No, probably not, no.
Dude, then why are we still talking about it, dude? Now I'm even more mad.
Look, here's what you gotta understand, bro. When that show comes on the air, there are gonna be certain people that they're not gonna be able to reference. And one of the very main characters in the show who lived underneath their house is definitely one of those people that they're never gonna be able to mention.
Fuck, man.
That's going to be really hard to make the show go right, because it's just like, you imagine that this kid is going to have some sort of best friend or have some sort of like, like a form of reference to be like, oh, he's a lot more like Eric, or no, he's acting a lot more like Hi, and it's just like, oh, I can't say that name now.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna rewatch. I'm just gonna rewatch That 70s Show, dude. I don't need to see this new one. It's probably gonna be some dog water.
Dude, yeah,
but yeah,
I mean, it's
on one hand,
Netflix.
On one hand, I like the idea. I do. But on the other hand, no.
I was telling this to Danny, but did you know that there was a show that got canceled? It was called That 80s Show. They tried
I did know about that.
Show.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally never saw any episodes about it, but I mean, after everything is said and done, because I was already at that point where Topher Grace had already left the show for That 70s Show, so I was like, I'm not really trying to see what other kind of kooky shenanigans this fucking 80s.
Well, the 80s one wasn't connected. It was its own separate show. Yeah.
And I think it was like, if anything, like more adult. It was like people who are already living in their own apartment by that point. Like, were they like in their 20s or 30s? I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
definitely not anything
like
relatable.
I just want to bring it up because, hopefully it's good. That's pretty much it. Hey, we got a trailer for Mob Psycho Season 3, finally. I've been waiting to hear something from this, because if you go on Amazon and you try to get the Blu-ray for Season 1 and 2, it says the complete series, and I'm like, duh, don't be true. Like, you're almost there, right? Season 3 could end it with the manga. And we finally get in Season 3, and it looks great from the trailer.
I'm ready, dude. It's going to be a good time.
I can't wait to hear the opening for Season 3. It's going to make me cry. I'm legit gonna cry.
Yeah. Now I will say, me, I'm not a big anime guy, but I did watch some episodes of Season 1, and it just looks so cool, man. The way they use the visuals with everything, with the powers and the ghost and stuff, I'm like, God, it's so good.
Yeah, man, Bones does a really good job, and I really want to see how they're gonna do, because it looks like we're definitely gonna hit the last arc, and I really want to see how that's gonna go out, because that's gonna be really emotional, really good, and
yeah, I think everything they're gonna cover in Season 3 is the best stuff out of the manga.
It should be all the way up to the final arc, if anything.
I would think so.
Yeah, because I mean,
because it's either gonna end with Dimple, or it's gonna end with him going into high school.
I mean, the whole him
you're
going into high school it's not even that long, really. So I think they could probably fit it all in like 2 episodes,
Yeah,
or maybe even
'cause
just like,
it's-
or maybe
'cause-
just one. But
Yeah, because the last few episodes is either going to be him fighting Dimple, or it's going to be him blacked out, destroying the city, going to confess to what's her name.
Oh, that's the end. That's the last
yeah,
part.
yeah.
So, what? Season 1 was 13 episodes. Season 2 was 13 episodes.
Yeah. It's going to
if
be the
they're
same
gonna try to-
probably.
See, that's kind of what is kind of a downer. If they really wanted to try to fit all of that in there, I think that they could do 26 episodes for this season, and just kind of cap it off at what is it, 53? Because then that would have been 26 episodes between season 1 and 2, and then 26 episodes for season 3 to fit just everything together. And if they want to do any fillers, I'm not gonna mind. I mean, that's definitely a show that if they wanted to do fillers for, I definitely watch. You know what I mean? Like, there are just certain shows with chemistry that I just think that Mob Psycho does really well on. And it's kind of, I know it's not really like something that we like argue about or really have to debate, because I know that Danny, you and Jerry are like are still reading One Punch, or like kind of still follow up with that. But like,
Yes.
when it comes to those two things, like I would take Mob over Saitama all the time, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're different types of characters, right? I do like Mob a lot. I think it's because Saitama, like, his character is that he's just bored and he wants a real fight for the most part, whereas Mob, there's actually other stuff going on in his life. He wants to change himself. He doesn't want to rely on his powers and stuff, and that's what makes him a cool character.
It's different when like your character is already pretty much at the top of the echelon to begin with, where Mob, you have to give him the same respect, like, but at the same time, he still struggles. Like, there have been tons of enemies throughout the entirety of his series where, like, yeah, he does end up overcoming them, but not before, he does have to pass a certain threshold. I think one of my favorite things by far was when they had to go visit that girl in, like, her dad's basement or whatever, where she was just getting locked up, and there was, like, a whole bunch of, like, different spiritualists and all of them everywhere. Remember, I don't know if, I think that should have been like, I think the beginning of season 2, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Yeah, that part was like one of my favorite in the series, because it just really shows, even though Mob is powerful, he's not really aware of what he has or what it is and how it works, and that feeling that there's still a lot more to be revealed, especially when it comes to like an all-powerful character like Mob versus Saitama, because I think for him, his powers are very transparent. Like, there's no dark secret that needs to be revealed when it comes to his powers. He's just gonna always be like, I don't want to say omni anything, but he's just always gonna be strong enough to take care of anything.
I'm excited. I might want to check it out. We'll see. I haven't seen anything from season 2 either, so maybe it is time to just casually watch it. And then finally, for the new stuff, we got more information about the JoJo spinoff that's going to be coming out in December. And again, this is going to be starring Whole Horse and Josuke. And the new info we got is that this is actually a prequel to Part 4. So this is going to be going on before Jotaro even gets there and all that stuff. So that's going to be interesting to see what a young Josuke does against Whole Horse. Like, the fact that they're going to be, I wonder if, like, are they going to be together, or is just Whole Horse going to be in Morio and then Josuke just shows up somewhere at some point? It's going to be interesting, because we also don't know how long it's going to be either.
Did they show any like illustrations or renditions of Josuke or Whole Horse?
It was in Ultra Jump. They talked about it, but it looked like just stuff from the manga already that they pulled to put on the cover.
My thing is, at this point, Jotaro is an adult, so I would imagine Whole Horse, if Whole Horse was around the same age as Joseph, which he wasn't, right? Whole Horse was younger than Joseph in Part 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's like in his
like a young man.
20s or something.
So I imagine Whole Horse is probably going to be like around the same age. No, just a little bit older, maybe 5-6 years older than Jotaro. So he'll probably have a beard. The real question is, I want to know if I remember correctly.
He was 30 in Part 3. Okay.
So that might make him like 40, 45, something like that.
And well, his 40s.
My question is he going to have an eye patch? Is he going to wear an eye patch? Because if I remember correctly, didn't didn't he end up getting his own bullet like lodged in his head? I think that's how I remember him going out.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember
Honestly,
either.
We'll see if I can
Honestly,
find
I
out.
want to say it was something like that. I remember because all I remember is he tried to shoot his gun through like a drain pipe because he had a what was it Oingo with him.
Yeah.
Because Boingo was in the hospital.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to go on in here. I'm curious about the art style because it's not a Rocky doing it, right? So I wonder what that's going to be like. But yeah, that's coming out in December, so that is super soon.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It does end up shooting him back. It does end up coming back to his face, but it says that the bullet wound stopped short of his skull, and he remains hospitalized for the rest of the story.
The only thing I can imagine that he's probably perfectly fine. He just probably wears an eye patch over one of his eyes.
Well, it doesn't say that it's on his eyes. It just says right in front of his face.
I don't remember where the bullet hit him in the face then. Or if
Yeah.
he hit him in his face or in the back of his head.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I read part 3. Okay, so I didn't know this. With the news, we got the 2 mangakas working on it. It's going to be a team. The artist I know is Tasuku Karasuma. That's the mangaka that does No Guns Life. So that's going to be cool. I like the art style in there a lot. And then I guess I was looking at a different image, but the preview they showed off, at least here on the Twitter account I follow, shout out again, Manga Mogura. They do good news here. Yeah, so the art is different. It's you could tell a little bit. It's more like No Guns Life. But Pet Shop is in the preview.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, but it looks like he's rocking, like he does like wear his little helmet, right, when he fights Iggy. But it looks like he has something covering his eyes as well.
I totally forgot about Pet Shop.
He's an asshole.
Always has been. Always will be.
Go Bulls.
Oh, it might be a mechanical bird, people are saying, because I guess, yeah, Pet Shop did die, didn't he? In part 3 when he
I
fought
want to say
Iggy.
yes. But
Yeah, because I forgot how Iggy
Yeah.
killed him.
Yeah, we still don't have an official title for it either. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be canon or not.
Yeah, I doubt it will be canon.
Oh, I mean, unless Araki is overlooking it, I think.
I mean, if he's not going to be involved in it, I don't know.
We'll see. Well, if there's really any contradicting things in there, then we know for sure, right? But until then, we'll just have to wait. That was pretty much it for all the news. I mean, the only thing we can talk about, I don't think you watched it yet, Oscar, but Squid Game, that thing blew up like crazy. And Adam first watched it. He told me it was good. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, man, I didn't really want to believe the hype, but someone had told me to like, nah, dude, it's pretty spot on for the hype. I'm like, okay, so I checked it out, and I think I got through it in like a day and a half.
God
Like
damn.
Yeah, dude, it's not very long, but no, dude, when I get into a show, man, or someone tells me to watch a show, I go through shows like butter, bro. Like I'd be pooping and still watching the show, dog. I got that screen mirroring type shit, you know. Like I don't lose a second. Like the second it hits 4 o'clock, your boy's done. I'm fucking glued, dude. Nothing's gonna get me up besides pooping. But anyways, it's really good. I like the premise. It's what I told Danny was it's like Battle Royale, the Japanese one. It's like a different take on it essentially. But I like the way that they do it. I like the storytelling. You had got like a couple different main characters. They're all pretty cool. You know, I don't think there's a character I didn't really like in here. Like everyone's like writing direction like all made sense to me.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot because the big thing is the writing, and some of it's kind of predictable, but I would say that's because of who the characters are. And it's like once you know the type of character they are, it's like, oh, they're obviously going to do this and it's going to lead to this route. There is some nice surprises I didn't expect. There's like a big twist at the end that I was like, oh, wow, that was really good.
I think you'd like it, Oscar. I think you'd like it. It's
I'll
right up your
definitely
alley.
check it out. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I've been really into like reviewing old shows. Not reviewing them, but just like watching old shows. So right now, me and my wife we're watching Xena, Warrior Princess.
Dude, hell
But
yeah,
okay,
man.
but before Jerry chimes in with some stupid ass some shit, let me just say, she's like filling me in on all of this like interesting stuff. Did you know that for the most part, the director of Xena Warrior Princess was Sam Raimi?
Yes, sir.
All of these episodes, I'm gonna tell you, some of them, especially in season 2, but season 1 for the most part is just straight fire, bro. Like the lore for this show, the tie-ins that they have for the other show, Hercules, Like, all of this stuff really makes me wish, like, we still had this kind of quality. I want to say this kind of quality of show, but like on Stream Network. And they're like 45-minute episodes. You know, like they're definitely good hour block segments. You know, so they definitely had all of these intentions with ads and stuff. But it's good, man. Like, there are definitely a lot of good qualities that I can see that, like, oh, you know, most shows don't do this anymore. That's too bad. I wish more shows do stuff like that. You know, it's just, honestly, it's a good refresher. I'd say if you're ever interested, you know, just look up any platform that has, like, older shows and give them a look. You know, maybe just do something in the background, like play video games or whatever, and just if it catches your eye, if you like it, then why not just, like, devote at least of one episode, right? And just check if you like it, because I'll tell you, man, like, I feel like I've been sleeping on this kind of stuff for a good minute ever since we started watching this stuff at night.
Oh, dude, Xena's great, man. It's always a good time. I always enjoyed watching it, you know, when I was younger. Definitely want to go back and finish it one day, you know, but I'm right up. That's right up my alley, you know. I'm an advocator for the Xena.
Oh man, Lucy Lawless, she's fucking babe, bro, and it makes me that much more appreciative that she, like, came back in Ash vs. Evil Dead when she didn't have to, but it's just like,
yes,
it's
sir.
Cool, when you watch it, you'll see Bruce Campbell in some of her episodes too, and you're just like, all right, so you're just pretty much just going back and forth with each other because you guys are good friends, you know what I mean? I super love that kind of relationship between actors.
Well, dude, it's like
cool.
It's like I went to go watch the 40-year anniversary of the first Evil Dead in theaters a few weeks ago, and there was like a little bit of commentary, like Q&A with Bruce Campbell, you know, before they showed the film, where, you know, wherever it was at, and he was talking about Spider-Man, and there was a point where Toby went up to him and he's like, "So you're just in all of Raimi's movies, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's how it works, man." We're a package deal.
Hell yeah, dude. Can't have one without the other, and God willing too. Cause
exactly.
It just doesn't work without it, you know.
Exactly.
Just to comment on some stuff with Squid Game, I've seen people complain about the ending and certain sub-stories that don't get wrapped up in the season. And all I have to say is, it's like, that was... Some of the stuff I saw people complain about, I'm like, that was the point of those characters or that sub-story, though. Like, it's not supposed to be that kind of thing. And that's what I kind of liked about the show. Is like, yeah, we don't have to get all the answers right now. And obviously there's going to be a season 2 because that's how big this show got. But the writer said he doesn't know when he plans on writing a season 2, which it makes sense because the way it ends and the cliffhanger, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I will just say, though, at the very end, it felt very webtoon, and I'm like, oh, if we're going to go this route, then yeah, I'm for it.
You said you are for it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
You'll like it, dude.
Is there like a lot of, like, I want to say, like, thrilling suspense moments in it? That's what I got out of it when it's like the life or death game shit.
There's a few of those in there. Like, really few. Like, the suspense is there, for sure. I want to say there's a good chunk, not a lot, but like a good chunk of like moments where you're on the edge of your seat waiting to see what the character's going to do, or like when you know what they're going to do, you know. There's a good chunk of those, and those are really nice.
Yeah.
For sure.
But watch the subs. Don't watch the English dub.
Yeah, dude, it automatically defaults to the dub, and when I was watching it, I was like, there was a certain point where I was like, no, go to the original, dude. It's just, again, I've said this before, I'm not dogging on dubbers. You guys do a great job, but this one, it just doesn't. I feel like for a lot of foreign works, like, just give us the sub, dude. It's so much better.
It just wasn't it, Chief. Just wasn't it.
The
It
dub,
wasn't it,
it
dude. It
sounded
just-
like the dub in Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah, dude, it's it's really bad, dude.
It sounds really bad. It's almost crazy that Netflix just said, yeah, whatever. Just...
Guys, you've definitely come a long way than that. Come on, we could do way better.
Yeah, dude, it's really bad, man.
Yeah,
Like,
all I heard
and, like,
was that the dub was bad, and then I saw a clip on YouTube. I was like, "Holy shit, dude! How did people watch this?"
there's a couple of, like, you know, scenes that could like pull at your heartstrings in the beginning in the first episode. There definitely is, but I didn't get that far with the dub because I was like, I can't do it, you know. But I'm sure that if I got to more heavy scenes with the dub, it just wouldn't carry the same effect. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's one of the most important things. I'm no voice actor, you know, I'm no dubber. I don't know nothing. I just live under a rock. But I feel like if you do those things, you have to carry that same emotion with the character, you know, and just I really don't think it's there for the dub. So again, reinforcing, watch the sub.
Do you feel like there was any effort at all, or is it like it's a Ghost Story situation where they're just doing whatever, however?
No, I mean they're trying to stick with the writing. They're not doing their own thing, but it's just it does look like it takes away because like the acting is really great in the show. Like that's the biggest thing, and then just to hear like this almost muted kind of sounding dub over it, it's like, oh god, that's just bad.
So again, it defaults to dub. So make sure when you watch first episode, you change that like right away.
But yeah, great show, man. I also binged it. I mean, I watched the first episode, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see where this is going, and then just binged it the next time I sat down and watched it. And it does a good job with cliffhangers, I'll say that, because there were some episodes where I'm like, okay, I'll go to sleep now, and then I looked, and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, I want to know what happens right now.
Oh, you guys are making me excited. Yeah, I still have a whole bunch of shit to do, but hopefully if I have enough time before bed, I'll definitely try to pop in an hour.
Nah, dude, like don't do it before bed, bro.
No, yeah, they're hour-long episodes.
Don't do it before bed. You won't go to sleep.
Do it, like, right after work, probably.
Exactly. Dude, like just get your dinner ready tomorrow, you know, and then, you know, watch the sunrise the next day. You know, just get yourself one good day of work before you start off the week.
Yeah.
Then be calling me up in the morning like, where you at? And be like, listen, dude.
Dude, all you gotta tell them is 3 words, bro. Squid Game.
But other than that, that's all I really have for the episode today. There's going to be a new Marvel Talk this week. We're finally going to touch down into the DC Fandom event that happened. We got a bunch of trailers. I mean, just to say real quick, they were all great. We actually the only full real trailer we got for movies was the Batman, and that was a pretty good trailer. So we're going to dive into that, and then Jake's going to give his thoughts about the Eternals premiere. He went last week, and he told me about some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to sit down for that movie, but we'll... so that'll be coming out soon, and then if you want to catch more of us, I'll be streaming. Right now I'm playing DMC, Devil May Cry, because I said, fuck it, it's downloaded on my PlayStation, I might as well play it. And I'm still having a good time with that game. And then Jerry's over there playing Metroid Dread. We'll get his thoughts when he beats that game on the next episode, hopefully. And then I think he's still going through Silent Hill 3. Negator 7 for me, and then him is Jerry Omega. And then, hopefully we're going to get a Webtoon episode out. The last one, it got corrupted, so we're just going to have to just do a new one and move on from there. And then, of course, manga reviews as usual. So, all right, guys, again, unversepodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments. And then unversepodcast on social media if you want to keep updated with the latest episodes. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
I go the extra mile. Yo, I ain't the toughest, but my voice is sweet. Leaving and singing is all my pride. Leaving and singing for all.